I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, The Queen Hadassah. It's been a really long time, maybe a few years actually, since I've made a video on this channel. This video is self-explanatory as to why I've been away. I don't really know if I will be making videos after this one. Yeah, it's a difficult video, but it's a video that I've been, like I said, I've been feeling led to make for quite some time now. I've been kind of running around it and trying not to make it as much as possible. But I just really wanted to come and tell this story because I feel like there are people out there that are dealing with similar things, and that maybe this video can actually help. And yeah, I just want this video to be a blessing to someone, because I know that when I was going through this, if I'd seen a few more videos or had spoken to a few more people that were either going through or had been through it, that it would have helped me. This isn't the happiest of videos, but hopefully you guys get something from it, and if you're not going through it personally, hopefully it will help you to help those that are going through it. So I'll start from the beginning. I've always been quite, the happy type in school. If you were to see my old school friends, I'll probably say, yeah, Esther was the class clown. I was silly, always dancing, always doing something silly, always telling the stupid jokes and stories. That was literally me. So to a lot of people's shock, the probably people watching this video that maybe even do know me, but maybe aren't as close to me, may be shocked that, I actually went through a very deep depression, because you would never really expect it from the people that come across as the happiest people. You never know who's going through it. Anyone can be affected by it. There were many reasons why I fell into depression, but in this video I don't really want to get into too many details. But I'm just going to kind of say what I feel is relevant. So just generally from my childhood, there's certain things that I had done, certain things that I had been through, that I really held on to. I was holding on to a lot of guilt, I was holding on to a lot of pain, I was holding on to a lot of regret, just a whole bunch of things that I was holding on to. Certain things that I'd been through that I blamed myself for. Just there was a lot of things that I hadn't dealt with, and that I kind of just let pile up and up and up and up and up. And then it just got to the point where I just didn't see any good in myself. I looked at myself and I just thought, you were the worst human being, like you've made so many mistakes, and this happened to you because you're an awful person, or that happened to you because you're an awful person, you're ugly, you're not beautiful, like there's just nothing good in you. I started to really, because obviously those of you that know me know that I went down the non-traditional route. So I became a makeup artist, didn't go to uni. All my sisters did go to university, so I was the only one that kind of went in the opposite direction. I was like, I'm going to follow my dreams, I'm going to be a makeup artist. So I did beauty school and the rest of it, but I didn't go down the traditional route. So there were little things there that I was also a bit, I was very, even though it came across that I was quite confident in what I was doing with my life, I was also very insecure in it, because I was also feeling very much like, maybe if I'd become a lawyer, then my life would be different. Maybe if I'd done this, then my life would be different. I felt like my parents weren't proud of me. I felt like God wasn't proud of me. I just wasn't proud of myself as a whole. Comparing myself to other people. I remember I would scroll for hours upon hours upon hours, looking at other girls or similar people that are in my industry, and just looking at everyone and just being like, like I'm not good enough, or I wish I was better, or just little things like that. I dissected every little area of my life. I didn't think that I had anything to bring to the world. I didn't think that God could use me. I thought that I was past the point of even being used by God. It felt like I was in this big world, and it felt like everyone was moving and living their lives, and it felt like I was at a standstill, just watching just watching the life go by and watching the world go by, it felt like I was in a box and I was just in one place and just could not move. I was in Ghana, and this prophet came. Now, in this day and time, there are a lot of false prophets, and that's something that you, as a Christian, you need to be able to discern what is real and what isn't. And I think that this is where it's very important that you have your own relationship with God and that you are able to hear from God directly, so that if you get a word that isn't in line with what God is saying, you will pick it up immediately. Your discernment will pick it up. You will know that this isn't of God. Unfortunately, the time where I did, speak to this prophet, I wasn't at that point where I was using my discernment. I wasn't. It's almost like I was a sponge, but the only things I could soak up were negative things. That's all I could feel, that's all I could hear. So it's almost like the moment I would hear negative words, I would latch onto them and I would take them as truth. But the moment someone was speaking positivity or life into my life, I couldn't feel it and I couldn't hear it. So he came to me and he said, and also bear in mind, at this point, I'd been dealing with my depression for probably about 2 years. So I was just, already in a bad place. But then that just made it that little bit worse. So he came to me and he said, you were born with this bright star over your head and now it's turned black. And he was like, I was so disappointed in you, what you could have been and what you are now. Or you just need to go to university and become an accountant. Now, those of you that know me would know me, Esther, accountant. Really? Child. No. But at that time I listened to him and I believed it. So I remember coming back, no tears Esther, sorry, it's all coming back now. I remember coming back from Ghana and then I was in such a dark place. I was just like, you know what, Lord, forget it. There's no point trying to rectify things, and I can never be what you wanted me to be. I've ruined this thing that you call life. I have messed it up completely. And then at that point, I would say, is when I entered the darkest phase of my depression. I was suicidal. I made many attempts in my life, and it's only by God's grace that I'm actually here today. Like, I would, go and do makeup jobs, and then I couldn't wait to just come home and just be in my room in a dark space and just cry. That's all I wanted to do. And it was very difficult for me because, like I said earlier, I was known for being quite happy and outgoing. So I kind of kept that face out in public, or when I was doing my jobs or things like that. But behind closed doors, I was ruined, I was broken, I was a completely different person. I couldn't feel or see anything else that was going on around me. All I could see was my own pain and my own regrets, and that's all I could see, that's all I could feel. So I lost a lot of friends, understandably, because I had changed. And when I look back at how bad things had got, I understand why people decided that, oh, Esther's a bit of a nut job, or all Esther does is talk about sad things. I don't want to be around Esther anymore. And I didn't want to tell my family. I have 3 sisters. I didn't want to tell my sisters. I was just kind of just dealing with it by myself. Embarrassed to open up about it. And I always said there was a time where I looked into my future and I saw complete darkness. And I'd always been a big dreamer, I'd always been a hard worker, I knew what I wanted in life, but it got to the point where I remember after that prophecy, I just looked into my future and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see any positivity, I couldn't see any life, I couldn't see what I was going to become. I didn't know what I wanted to become anymore. I just didn't know who I was, full stop. I just saw darkness, I saw nothing. And all those dreams, aspirations, everything that I'd once had, it completely just, sorry guys. And that was the hardest part, because I'd gone from waking up in the morning and knowing what I wanted in life and knowing where I wanted to go and knowing who I was, and even thinking that I was beautiful and thinking that, I had so much in me and so much to give and had all these dreams, plans, aspirations. But it went from being that to just seeing complete darkness, just nothing. And that's a very difficult place to be, because I guess for a lot of people, the future is what keeps them going. Where they're going is what keeps them going in life. I lost the passion for my work, and I started suffering from anxiety, so I'll have major anxiety when it came to things like my emails and just certain things. Like, I would just get nervous about it. And I remember asking God, like, I need help. I can't do this by myself. I feel like I'm drowning. I don't feel like myself anymore. Everything that has made me me, I don't know who I am. I feel lost. I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like the world is going, but I'm at a standstill. Lord, I need help. And I'd been friends with my friend Sarah for a little bit at this point. I was very much scared to share certain things because I just didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want anyone to feel what I was feeling, or to take on my feelings or pain. Like, I didn't want to. But God brought this friend into my life, and my friend Sarah is still someone in my life that is pushing me closer to my destiny and closer to what God has in store for me. So I'll just give you a bit. I have to add her in this video, because honestly, there are moments where I think about the times where I was just so low, and I remember what she did for me, and sometimes just a phone call from her would change everything. Better, she was there for me, and she was so selfless. And imagine having someone that daily is just, I used to share everything with her, and it couldn't have been easy for her to hear all this sad stuff constantly, or to know how suicidal I was, or to have that phone call like, I don't want to be here, Sarah. Like, it couldn't have been easy, but she didn't give up on me. She didn't give up on me. She would pray with me, she would encourage me, she would lift me up. Even though she had absolutely no reason to stick around, or no reason to have patience for me, she had that patience for me. And she completely changed the definition of friendship for me. I now see, do you know what I mean? I've seen what friendship is. I've seen what true love is. And that definitely got me through a lot. Two Sarahs. My other friend Sarah, Sarah Solonge. Sarah Olonge. I don't know, she's Solonge Design, Sarah Olonge. And Sarah Boydu. Sarah Boydu is the first one I was talking about. Amazing designer, black, trust me. And Sarah Olonge, also an incredible person. She'd been through a lot, and just also seeing her, how she'd come out of it, and her strength also inspired me to come out victorious. But yeah, I call them my Sarahs. I named my car after them because they're just so special to me. Who you have around you, people who are going through it, who you have around you is very key. Make sure you have the right people around you. It's not everybody that you can share these things with. It's not all of your friends that you can share this with, because it's not all of your friends that are going to be there for you. Some of them won't physically be able to handle it, and that's understandable. I'm here because God kept me. He loved me so much that he was like, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to show you how much I love you. I'm going to pour out my love to you. I'm going to show you. And I remember I was at youth camp, FGC, blah, blah, blah. Big up all my FGC crew. I'll put a link below actually to my youth camp, FGC. I've been going every year. It's actually incredible. And I remember being at youth camp, and this was last August, and by then I was going backwards and forwards, and I was like, Lord, this life thing is long. I said, you know what, fine. Lord, I'm going to go to FGC, and I'm going to ask you to give me joy, and to help me, just give me a glimpse of my future. Let me hope again. Let me hope again. Let me see my future again. Let me believe in myself again. And I promise that I won't make any more attempts, that I won't continue to pray and ask you to take me away. I won't be in that place. I'll start hoping and praying for more positive things. But Lord, just please give me a glimpse of my future. Take away this darkness. I'm feeling. Let me feel, if you do love me, let me feel that you love me. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that I'm not by myself. Let me know that I'm forgiven. Let me know that I'm accepted. And all of these things. And I remember being at youth camp, and one of the pastors was speaking, and he was speaking about his life and where he'd come from and where he is. And I remember, and I said to God, Lord, if you can do it for him, you can do it for me too. If he's been there and he's been through this and that what I've been through and what I'm dealing with is nowhere near on that level. So if you can do it for him, Lord, you can do it for me. And I prayed and I said, God, please, I know you can do it. And for the first time, I started to have that positivity that, Lord, I know you can do it. You've done it for him, so I know you can bring me out of it. I know that you can use me again. I know that my life is of some value. I know that, as messy and as bad as things have got, I know that I can be something in this lifetime. I know that I can make a change. I know that you can use me. And it's not even a thing where at this point in my life, I don't want a quarter of the things I wanted before going through that depression. Before I wanted, I wanted to be rich, and I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But honestly, now I'm at a point where I just want God to use me. Whatever it is he wants to do with my life, I want him to just do it. I want to be at a place where I can help other people and where I can be a blessing. I want my life to hold value. I'm not saying that I don't care about all the other stuff. Obviously, it's still there, but I have such a passion for joy and happiness, and to see those around me and other girls and young women to feel that joy and to feel that happiness and to feel God's love in their lives, to feel that they're beautiful, to feel that, that there's nothing wrong with them and that they have a purpose and God has a plan for their lives. And that became, me. That is now where I am. After that, the rest of the retreat, I started to pray and I started to ask God, Lord, I know you can do it. Lord, I know you can take me out of this place. Lord, I know you have great things. I started to speak these things over my life. I started to confess these things over my life, that I am accepted, I'm loved, I have a future ahead of me. And honestly, guys, no word of a lie, by the last day of that conference, my mindset had changed. I'm not going to lie and say that I was cured like this. It wasn't like that. But for the first time in a long time, I could see my future. And I could see that God was going to use me. And I could see that everything that I had gone through, even down to the mistakes, down to the things that made me so sad, down to the things that led me to that dark place, I started to see that everything had happened for a reason. It all started to make sense. And God isn't a God, he won't put you in pain. He won't put you in a place, of just despair and pain and agony without there being a reason. Or he wouldn't just give you a mess without turning it into a message. He won't just put you through crazy tests without, you be coming out and being able to give an amazing testimony. There's no way he would ever do that. Because he's such a loving, he's such an awesome God. He's our Father. He's my Father. I know not everyone watching this video is a Christian, but even if you're not a Christian, there's no way that you'll go through all this pain and just for no reason. There's always a reason. And even if that reason is just that you've gone through it so that there's one other person that one day you can speak to and you could help, and then you can give them that gift of life, because they're able to relate to you and they've seen how you came out of it, so they know that they can come out of it, even if it's just one person. You've gone through it for a reason, and you've made a change in the world, and you've made a difference, and you've made an impact. So when I looked back, I realised all of those things that I felt, like those days where I was crying and I begged God to take me away, the days where I just thought that I was the ugliest thing in the world, I don't understand, but all of those things where I just thought, there's nothing good in me, like I'm a rotten egg, there's no going back. All those things, all those moments, all those days, it was for a reason, and it was pushing me closer to my destiny. It was pushing me closer to my purpose. And not only that, I realised at the end of it that God had been there throughout. God had been there throughout. That there were things could have taken other turns, things could have been a lot worse than they were, but God was with me, holding my hand throughout it. Even at those moments where I felt like I was alone, He was there. And that He loves me regardless of my mistakes, regardless of my past, regardless of how messed up in the mind I had become. He still loved me. And He still wanted what was best for me. He loved me so much that he despite everything that I'd done to ruin, you know, His destiny for my life or what He had planned for me, He still kept it. He still kept my gift. He still kept my gift of makeup. He still kept my everything. He just kept everything that He had in store for me. He kept it. And He was preparing me and strengthening me for a time where I'll be able to take on these things, and even to the point that I'll be able to stand in front of you guys, or sit, but be able to sit in front of you guys and tell you that whatever you are going through, hang on, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and God's not going to take you through something without, He's not going to, you know, put you in such a horrible place and just leave you there. He loves you so much. He loves me so much. There's so much in you, and there's so much in you that you need to give, and that the world needs to see, that you can't waste it. You can't just throw your life away. You can't just give up. As it stands now, I get it. Like, when I look back, I understand everything that I went through. I understand why I went through all of those things, and even where I am right now, and the vision I have for my future, and what I want to do with myself. I realised that if I hadn't gone through certain things, I wouldn't have been at this point. I wouldn't have got to this point in my life where I'm actually doing what I want to do. Am I going to lie and say that it's easy? It's not easy. There are still moments where I get the scroll syndrome, and I'm looking in my Instagram and I'm like, oh, look at that person, or oh, look how amazing she looks, oh God, I want to look like her, or oh my God, look at what that person's doing, oh, I want to be that successful, I want to do that. But at the end of the day, God has His own route for my life. He has His own plan for me. I'm not this person. I'm not Katie or Sam or Louis or Jessica. I'm Esther at PG. That's who I am. And God has His own plan for my life. And me looking at somebody else isn't going to change what God has in store for me. It's not going to push me closer to what God has in store for me. So don't get me wrong, there are still times where I have weak moments. I still suffer time to time with anxiety. I get anxious with social media still. It's something that I still battle up till today. But I'm better than I was. I'm in a much better place now than I was before. I'm pro-life, and honestly, anyone watching this video who is going through it, or who knows someone that is going through it, don't give up. Don't give up. And also, don't give up on those people. Obviously, not everyone is built for it. Obviously, if you're somebody that is also down yourself, it's very difficult to surround yourself with someone who's constantly down, because that can also bring you down. But if you know that you are spiritually strong enough, or you're just strong enough in general to help a friend, then don't leave that friend in that time of need. Be there for that friend. Pray with them. Encourage them. Love them throughout it. Especially if you know that they haven't always been like that, because there are people that have just been negative from day one. Just negative people, just every time, just bringing you down. Like, you look nice, and they won't tell you that you look nice. They're just being negative, constant. Just little things like that. You know, there's different types of people. But if you know that you've had a friend, and then you look at that friend and you see something different in them, and it's almost like they're a completely different person, or they've lost their spark and they've lost that glow, be there for that person. Love that person. because you never know. You never ever know who you're helping or what you're going to do for that person. You never know what that one smile or that phone call is going to do for that person. You don't know how it's going to save or change their lives. You don't know what it is exactly they're dealing with. You may not understand it fully, but just that one phone call or just that, you know, one thing can help them so much. Yeah, I hope that this video has let you see that God can use anybody, and he can turn anything around. Even if you're a murderer, killer, whatever you are, whatever you've done, or wherever you've come from, even if you've gone through the most difficult of times, maybe you've lost your partner, maybe you've lost your mum or your dad, and you're just feeling like my life is worthless and I can't go on and I can't live my life anymore, or I've lost that passion for life, I've lost that zeal for life. I just want you to keep on going, because like I said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is something that God wants to do with your life. There are people around you that need you. There are people around you that truly love you, and I don't want to see you gone. And even if nobody else wants anything good from me, there's someone up there that loves me, and he cares about me, and he wants what is best for me, and he will give it to me. You know, like there's that verse in the Bible that says, you know, even you and I, if you're wicked, you know, talking about human beings, you know, when your son asks for, you know, bread, you won't give him a stone. So how much more, you know, our Heavenly Father, when we ask of him or when we seek him, he's not going to pay us back with evil. He's not going to give us something bad. He's always going to give us something good. He's always going to give us something that will bring out the best in us. He's always going to do what is the best for us. And there's that song, you're a good, good father, that's who you are, that's who you are. That's who he is. And he will send people, he will send words. And so there's many stories in this, but there was even a time, so after retreat, I remember coming back, and then I got some news that was my biggest fear. Again, I may not go into details now, but probably will, maybe one day I will, but I got some news, and I was just distraught. And it was weird because I almost went back into a thing of God doesn't love me, and if he's letting this happen to me, then he obviously doesn't love me. And I just went to a place of just partying. I just went wild. I just would go out constantly. This place called Aqua in Clapham, they knew my name. Trust me, when you're at a point of a breakthrough, the enemy's going to he's going to throw things at you. Like, honestly, the moment that I got to the point where I was like, this is it, I see my future, I know what I need to do next, the enemy just threw this one thing and just, where you going, stop, take that. He tried to, you know, Salt Bay, the enemy just tried to put some salt on my happiness. He tried to do this with my biggest fear. And me too. I then went to go and eat that. I went to go and eat the salt. I went to go and eat it. Oh yeah, let me have some of that. I took it in and then started acting wild. But that's another thing that I will tell you. It's not, once you reach that point when you're like, I'm getting better and things are looking up for me, the enemy will always try and throw things in the mix. But you know what? Because God is so awesome, he sent someone. Her name was Susan. I hadn't spoken to her like that. And no word of a lie, at that point, I was wilding out. I was grabbing back because the enemy came to do this, and I was also taking it. I was going back. And then she said all these things to me. And these were things that God had spoken to me about before, just before I'd heard that bad news. But she came and confirmed everything, and she said, Esther, God loves you so much, and sorry. But she just spoke to me and she gave me these words of encouragement. I think that's the day it was sealed, that God loves me so much that even at times where I just feel like I'm alone and I'm turning my back on him, he'll send a word just to let me know that he loves me and that he has awesome plans for my life and that I'm not alone. And for that, I owe everything to him. Because he could have just thrown me away and been like, I don't want to use you. You go, girl. If you want to leave this world, bye. You go. But he loves me so much that he would use even the biggest of my messes and turn them into a message. And that he loves me so much that he will send people into my life. He will send me my Sarahs. He will send me, was it Susan? And like he'll send me these people to remind me that he is God and he is in control and that there is nothing that he cannot do. And I'm a living testimony to say that there is nothing that God cannot do. When I look back at what I was to where I am now, I'm not saying that I have it all figured out. Don't get me wrong, there are things that I struggle with. Even down to those things, like he loves us so much and there is nothing that he cannot do. There is absolutely nothing that God cannot do if you just believe. If you just put it in his hands and say, you know what, God, I can't handle this. Instead of saying, God, like, I'm defeated, I'm nothing, I'm this, I'm that. How about saying, Lord, I physically can't handle this, but I want to believe what you say about me. You say that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made in your image. I may not feel beautiful, but I am beautiful because you made me. I may not feel like I have a future, but I do because you created me. You knew what I'm going to become. You knew my end from the beginning. You know where I'm going. You know where I am right now. It may not look great, but Lord, you know where I'm going. So I'm putting it in your hands and I'm laying it all down, Lord. I can't handle this myself, but I trust in you. I put it in your hands. I'm going to believe what you say about me and forget everything that I think about myself. I'm going to forget all the lies that the enemy feeds me. I'm going to forget what I see on social media. That doesn't matter, God. All that matters is what you say about me, what you think about me. And I lay it and I put it in your hands. Help me, God. Send me the right people, Lord. Send me the right words. Send me to the right church. Put me around the right people. Lord, I just want to be what you have ordained me to be. Write a list of all the things that you are grateful for and all the things that you're good at. Then you start to see that I'm not as bad as I think I am, but actually, despite how I feel, this person loves me, that person loves me, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. Oh, remember that time when I did this, remember that time when I did that. If you've done it before, you can do it again. If there was a time where you've been happy, you will be happy again. Like I said, it's very easy to get so consumed in that darkness that you don't see the light of your past, you don't see the light of your present, you don't see the light of your future. So even the people that love you, the things that are good in your life, even the fact that God loves you, all these things, it's very difficult to feel it and see it when you're in that place. Everything just feels like it's too much. Everything feels like it's overwhelming. Everything feels like it will just take you, forever and a day to get through it or to do it, and it's not even true. Maybe I'm going to do another video of just things that you can do to get you out of a dark place. I definitely feel like that's another video that I need to make. Oh, Mom. Yeah. Mom, I can still hear you there. No, I'm going down. Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry guys, so my outro got deleted by accident, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope that you got something from it, even if it's just one person. I hope that someone has been blessed by this video, and I hope that you see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I just want you guys to keep on going, keep striving. And yeah, thank you so much. And there are links in my bio for, songs that have helped me, verses that have helped me. So yeah, please check that out. Thank you guys. Bye.